Naples Beach Bible Study.
Christianity is not just some, religious thing. Like this is an invite to a personal relationship with the Creator. So
I really wish I was where you guys are at, to be honest. What was it that made you guys like start off by just saying like, hey, we haven't seen each other, and you start talking about God right off the bat? I mean, you guys are obviously both on your individual journeys, like like you're looking for God, you're looking for a mentor. What is it about your guys' age that makes it difficult?
It's crazy what God can do in your life as soon as you surrender and start following Him.
What's up? Welcome back to the Brighter Side Podcast. I'm your host, Cory Adams. Thank you guys for watching. First off, I want to start off by saying, if you were watching on YouTube, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. That helps us a ton. If you really, really like it, hit the bell. That just lets you know that we been uploading every Friday. Might start changing that to Mondays, but just be looking out for that. But I wanted to welcome my guests. I got some young, strapping men here, Anajah and Zach. These guys are some local high school, young college kids now here in the Naples area. They started a Naples Beach Bible study. Gosh, I can't talk today. This is take 2, by the way. So I had a really good intro before that. So they are on the show today because I want to learn about them. I think it's really cool. Even as a business owner, I think it's really cool when people take initiative in something that they're passionate about, which is what the Brighter Side is really about. It's about business owners, entrepreneurs, cool things that are happening in this area, and I just think it's cool. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So how do you guys know each other?
All right. You want to talk about
what's the story? Yeah.
We had honestly known each other throughout high school. I mean, we weren't really super close, but we talked here and there. We had mutual friends. I know he played basketball. I was playing football at the time, and we also had friends that played basketball. So it was just a mutual kind of friend thing. So that's how we first began to know each other.
Gotcha.
After a while, just because we had mutual friends and stuff, we'll always kind of be in the same space and so forth, but we never really kind of talked or connect that much. But it wasn't really until last year we both applied for this job, and as I was walking in, I saw him walking in. I was like, okay, familiar face, kind of calmed down my nerves, and I just want to talk to him and stuff. We're kind of excited seeing the chances of us both being at this job. And after a while, just talking and getting familiar and connecting more, we just ended up just talking about life, and it transitioned into talking about God. And we both were just saying how we wanted to grow more in our faith, didn't know really where to start. We were also wanting a Bible study partner and so forth, and that really sparked my interest because I was really praying for a partner to study the Bible with.
Yeah.
And Zach came along, and we had interests aligned, so I was like, okay, let's do it.
So you guys are kind of acquaintances, we're cool, we might hang out, but if we're not calling each other every weekend, we're going here, we're going there.
Exactly.
So how have you guys been believers for a long time? I mean, what's your story, Zach, on how long? Because I know you said that it hasn't been as long for you or whatever, and I haven't had a chance to ask you yet, but.
Well, I mean, I kind of grew up in the church.
Okay.
I mean, my church was kind of just I would say religious and judgmental, with the people and everything like that. But it was also just a Haitian church, so I didn't really go to church understanding what the preacher was saying. But I knew, I learned the gospel in Sunday school and all that stuff. But
there wasn't a relationship there.
It wasn't necessarily a relationship, I felt like. And I got baptized when I was 13. I mean, I knew the gospel and everything like that. But I still was living my life trying to, reach a standard, trying to, be perfect and do all these things and whatnot. But I found myself not being able to live up to that standard that I thought we had to live in. I kept thinking that I had to live my life in some sort of religious way, do this, do that.
Yeah.
And
man,
do this.
so many people think that.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't understand the relational aspect of it, and that kind of caused me to stray away from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I said earlier that right now, this is where, over the past year, this is when I've been really serious about it, because this is when I understood the relational aspect of it, that Christianity is not just some religious thing. this is an invite to a personal relationship
Right.
with the Creator. So
Cool. It's cool. So you're not, it's just, I kind of grew up the same way. Like I got saved when I was younger, and I mean, I knew what I was, I knew what I was like. I understood it, but I wasn't really living it out. And then I kind of got into high school, and I really wasn't like doing anything, honestly. I mean, and then, anyways, but it kind of progressed. Young college, I started kind of going, stuff started adding up, asking a lot of questions, doing a lot of things I shouldn't have been doing. And, I can remember like a time in my life where I was like really, really questioning, the typical stuff people say, like, why do bad things happen to good people, and what kind of a God? And, while I'm drinking a beer and, smoking a cig, or something, it's like, just trying to justify kind of like my faith by like saying, oh, this is what I want to do. And then you think like, oh, in the Bible, you can't drink, and you know, all the rules that people think. And it's like, that's a whole nother like conversation. But what about you? What about you, Anajah?
Yeah, it's a very similar story, I would say. When I was growing up, my family's always been religious, but they kind of bounced around. We grew up Catholic. I was going to private school, Catholic schools, and then we became Seventh-day Adventists and so forth. But through my time of childhood, like, I was always in the church, learning about God and learning scripture, learning all the biblical stories and stuff. And I've always had a reverence for God. That's all I knew, and I understood it at that young age. But as we kind of moved around physically, like I moved from Jersey to Pennsylvania down to here, it was hard to really get adjusted into certain churches, especially down here in Florida. We tried church hopping and stuff. We just never really found a place that we resonated with exactly. And it kind of caused us to just stop going to church in general. My mom was always working, and my dad was working. And so we just stopped going. And by this time, I was probably in, late middle school, going into high school. And as you said, like, high school comes around, I'm not going to church. Like, I'm not reading my word or anything of that. So I'm just, I'm not really doing anything.
Yeah, you're getting it from the phone. You're getting your religion from your phone, literally. Whatever you're watching, listening to,
exactly,
that kind of stuff.
Exactly, yeah. And at that age, it comes with asking questions and seeking understanding. And as you said, like, I'm searching for truth in so many different other things, and listening through the phone and what people are saying about whatever. And throughout that time, I never really like found something that really. That stuck out to me, like, this is the truth,
Yeah.
So,
I definitely think that's a lot of people, I mean, we all three kind of have similar stories, but I mean, there's so many people that don't actually find it though, you know what I mean? Like they never believe it, or they don't find that, I don't want to call it an aha moment, but where, a lot of times, I don't know about you guys, but I think you get to a breaking point, unfortunately, that's not, you don't want to have to get to that point, but a lot of times you hit a low,
that's right.
And it's like, this is totally off subject, but it made me think of it, because like, it's really weird. The last two Sundays I've been at church, we usually sit on the ends, because I'm on a serious like health kick right now, and I'm like legit drink like 2 protein shakes and a thing of water before I like even get to church. So I'm always like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna have to go, and I don't want to, go to the bathroom or something, right? So I'm like sitting in the middle. So I always sit on the end. But this one day for some reason we sat, like, there was one empty seat on the edge, and I don't know why we didn't scoot down, but for whatever reason we didn't. And as church fills up, and like all of a sudden this lady comes, and I have my phone sitting there, and she walked past, and I felt bad, I felt like a jerk. I was like, oh man, I didn't mean to have my phone sitting there, like somebody couldn't sit there. And I pulled it away. She sat down, and anyways, but like you could just bawling, you know what I mean? Like just broken. 2 Sundays in a row. So this girl sat right next to me, and I was like, wasn't sure what to say. I was like a man. If it was a guy, I would have totally been like, hey man, let me pray. And I was like, I didn't want to like chase her around and be like, hey, like, let me, but it's just like, and then yesterday at church, same thing. A lady was sitting in front of me though, just single lady. She may not have been single, but she was there by herself, just bawling, man. And you just, you're like, man, unfortunately, like that's where sometimes people have to be. And I don't know what was going on in their life. That's not even fair, but it just reminds me, like, I've been in that exact spot, where I just was like I gotta give this a shot, you know what I mean? To like really give it where I'm really gonna pursue it. But but what's interesting though is, how old are you guys?
I'm 19.
19.
19?
Yes, sir.
Wow. So I mean, you guys are figuring it out a lot quicker than I did. I was figuring it out at like I was really not up to no good at 19. I promise. And I'm not bragging. I'm not saying that's cool. I really wish I was where you guys were at, to be honest. So you're college students? No, figuring out college.
Yeah, college. Yeah.
College. Okay. So what do you guys think that it was that you said you're both trying to find a job? You're going. I mean, I understand why you need a job, but like, what was it that made you guys like start out by just saying like, hey, we haven't seen each other, and you start talking about God right off the bat? I mean, you guys are obviously both on your individual journeys, like, right? Like you're looking for God, you're looking for a mentor. What is it about your guys' age that makes it difficult? Like what are kids your age facing? I mean, I'm 44, so I mean, I'm facing different battles than you guys are, but I'm not facing the same battles you guys are probably facing in some ways, maybe some.
When we had first met each other, well, not first met each other, but when we had, cross paths again, I was kind of just going through like a rough little patch throughout that whole season of my life. Like, I was going out, I was partying, I was lusting after girls, I was, doing all this and that. And prior, like before, I would always be on and off within my relationship with God. Like, I was always trying, read my word, go to church and do all that stuff. But I was always end up finding myself like falling back in the same thing that I was doing. So I came across Anajah, right? And my friend had invited me to a church camp, which was the week or two after. And I told him like, hey, I'm going to church camp or whatever. He's like, oh, really? Like, oh, I've been trying to get close to God too. And that's where it kind of just clicked, where it's like, okay, like maybe like we could start like helping each other, sharpening each other when it comes to this relationship with God. And that's how it kind of all just like how everything all just like took off. Yeah, I went to the church camp. Was
this first Naples, or
no,
is this
no,
like...
This is a whole different camp. This camp was in Tennessee.
Okay. Like isn't it like Young Life, or is that...
No. This was it was CIY, Christ in Youth.
Okay.
A whole lot of churches. There was like crazy amount of people there, crazy amount of high school kids, and stuff like that. I went to the camp, and as soon as I got there, like we did the worship, we did all this stuff and this and that. Like, I immediately felt the presence of God. And before, like, even when I was going out partying and doing all these things, like, I would feel convicted about it. I'm like, man, I feel ashamed to even like, pray. I feel ashamed to even like open up my Bible. And I was just such at a low spot in my life where I felt like almost like unworthy of being of deserving God's grace, of deserving God's love. But I still decided to go to that camp, and I went, and I immediately felt the presence of God. I immediately felt what I'd been searching for so long. And I knew, like, as soon as like I got there and we started worship and I was lifting my hands and praising God, that I did not want to live that way anymore. Like, I did not want to go like so.
I think the Holy Spirit really got a hold of it.
Exactly. It was just like immediate heart transformation at that point for me. It was just like, I wanted to do a complete 180 in my life. So when I came back, I texted Anajah. I'm like, hey, like, I'm really serious about this. Like, I really want to, like, change and do better for myself. And because the way that I was living before is not. I was living life straight headed towards destruction, and I knew that I needed to change that. So,
that's so true. Like, I feel like, like, it's like, what do you do, right? Like, you're like, okay, say like, I really know I have this feeling. I really know this is what I want to do, but like, nobody else my age is doing this. It's not cool. Like, nobody's going to be like, yeah, let's stop partying and start reading our Bibles. Like, it's like, I mean, that's like the lie of the enemy forever. Like, they make it look uncool, you think you got to be like a simp or something, and it's like, it's like, where do you turn? Right? Like, I mean, that's like, it's no different really as an adult either. It's kind of the same battle, but like, I think it's a little bit harder probably if I had to guess at like a younger age, just because you guys have so much coming at you. And, I feel like that's like kind of a nice like intervention that God, like you guys had that previous, like even just like, hey, like, what's up? I've been trying to get closer to God. And then you have this experience and like you have some, because like, I don't feel like probably a lot of people really even have that, like, an old friend or whatever. But what was it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, at that point in time, I was definitely living, a way different life than I am right now. And a lot of the things I was doing and indulging in, I would never see fulfillment in it at all. And it became like just a redundant cycle.
Yeah.
So like, having that just always reoccur and always experience that emptiness that made me want to seek more, like something that actually is like worthwhile, you know. And I always knew there was something greater. That's why, you know, I fell back to the only thing I knew of, which is God, and having that just desire to understand him more. But I mean, as you said, like it was so hard at that time because the people who I was around especially weren't living that way of where I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
So, you know, rejecting hangouts, rejecting partying, or doing other stuff was definitely difficult, you know. And even if I did indulge in, it's like, what am I doing, you know?
Yeah.
I think that was like the main like part,
like that just, guilt.
Yeah. Just always feeling that. I was like, man, like this is not it, you know?
Yeah, you're right. That's so true. I can remember thinking, like, even back in my own story too, like, just like that guilt of like, kind of being a hypocrite, you know, when people say, you know, one of the major things people say about church, I don't go to church, it's full of hypocrites. And you're like, I mean, it is. Yeah. And so is Walmart. I mean, so is, you know, you're a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. Like we all like, you know, we all do that. But like, when you have that like longing, it's like you got that, because, you know, I feel like that's where, you know, when you're saved and you have the Holy Spirit, you know, it's like it's still there. It's just like you've been pushing it away, not listening to it, silencing it, and, you know, just filling your head with, you know, all the things of the world. And so it's like, you know, it's hard, man. It's difficult. So you guys make the connection, right? So you're like, all right, like let's do this. So I mean, does this start out just you two just getting together? Like, you know, first watch, or I mean, do you guys go straight to the beach?
So I came back from camp, right? And as soon as I came back, the camp helped me realize how much easier it is to, you know, praise God and live for him when you are surrounded by other people that do it as well. So I was going to college groups, youth groups. I texted Anajah one day. I'm like, hey, like we should just have a Bible study at the beach, right? And then we went there. It was just us two. We opened up the Bible, but before we opened up, we just started talking. We were talking for like an hour or two, just about life and how like our plans for the future and all this and that or whatever.
Cool.
We opened up our Bible, we started reading, we're explaining it, we're highlighting stuff, and we're doing all this and that, like we're learning. And we started doing this until like it was completely like dark outside, and we were at the beach for a while, and we were going back home, and we were walking back to our cars and everything like that. I'm at home, and I text him, I'm like, man, that was good. Like, we should invite more people.
Yeah.
So then it went from like just us two, and then the next week it was like 10. I think that week we got up to maybe like a little over 80 people, and then now this past month we've been having over like 140 kids at the beach.
Wow.
So,
I didn't realize it was that many.
I know. I mean, God's been moving heavily right now, and it's just amazing to see that wasn't even like our intention.
Yeah, right.
To have it like that, it was just like a place.
Yeah, that's a hard Bible study to like. Even if you are even if you are wanting that many people, that's not an easy thing to like to navigate. You know, it's not.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like when I tell the story of how it started. As Zach said, it was just us two, and then we invited a couple of our friends, and we're like, hey, like you invite your friends, you know, and just bring people you feel like bringing. And when I saw that it got up to like over 140 people, I'm just appalled, because no matter like if somebody else wanted to give us credit for the Bible study, like that is none of our doing.
It's not our
doing.
I couldn't tell you how 100 people could hear about this Bible study. You know, like we could post it on social media or tell a friend, but there's so many other things outside of our control that makes these people hear about it. Or makes these people be in a state where they say, hey, like I need Jesus. I need to learn about Jesus. I need to know more.
Yeah.
And you know, it's none of our doing. It's all God. And man, it's just been, you know, blessing.
Throughout that whole experience, just reflecting back, it's just like, it's crazy what God can do in your life as soon as you surrender and start following him. Because when I was younger, I never thought like this would happen. I never expected to be some teacher, just like, you know, like sharing the word to so many people, or sharing the word to, you know, so many you know, youth and just the people of this generation. I never expected that, and I know Anajah didn't expect that either, to be leading a whole bunch of men you know, towards Christ as well. Like, this is not something that I grew up wanting to do, but as soon as I started following the Lord, he placed me in where he wanted me to be at. He placed me exactly where I needed to be at.
Sure.
So it was just like, it's just crazy how things work, because obviously, once again, like, we weren't expecting it to get so big.
Yeah.
But because it was growing so fast, we had to step up in leadership and be like, hey, like, okay, we noticed that numbers are growing. Obviously, we're not going to stop it. You know what I'm saying? And like he said, like, this is not our ministry. Like, this is the Lord's ministry. We're just stewards of what He's given us. He's entrusted us with, people that are willing to come to the beach, people who may not find it easy to step into a church building, but can come to the church. I mean, to the beach. Yeah. So He's just entrusting us with something, and we're just stewards of it. Obviously, again, it's just His ministry. We couldn't do it on our own doing.
Yeah, it's so true, man. I mean, that I think is therein lies like what people get wrong about, church. I mean, like my pastor says it all the time. I go to First Naples. I mean, you don't have to go to church to like believe, but I mean, it's like, I look at it like, man, it's like a bunch of, like I said, I just like in the last 2 weeks, I mean, there's broken people there. Mm-hmm. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what's going on in their life. And it could be their fault. It could be, something else. I mean, it's not for me to figure that out. It's just like, church is a place to go and say like, I'm like, hey, like I need help, like I need this in my life daily. I mean, nobody, like, I shouldn't say nobody, this doesn't sound bad. I mean, if I don't want to really go to church, like, I mean, I don't want to get up and go on Sunday. I mean, there's other things I'd rather like probably go do, but I'm so glad every Sunday that I go. I mean, like, it's like kind of like going to the gym, right? Like, it's never really the workout. It's the drive there. You know what I mean? It's never really like once you're there and you lift in or whatever, it's just like getting yourself out of bed and like, it's like sometimes I feel like church can be like that. But when people are like needing something, but they're scared to go to church, or maybe they've been burned in church, they're like, nah, every church is the same. And, it's like you're just extending. I mean, we live in Naples, beautiful here, the beach, it's a great way to just get people to like just give it a shot, and they got young kids there, I'm guessing. So I mean, is this? I mean, if I show up there, I'm gonna get like kicked out, right? Or
I mean, there's some older people that come. I mean, obviously it's majority of the youth, but like we invite anybody and everybody. So it's not. Is it? Would you say it's more high school or more? Is it a good mix? I would say it's more high school for sure. I would say it's more high school for sure. Yeah. But college students, there's a good handful of college students. There's a good handful. I mean, there's a few adults that come in here and there. But because I mean, also like college right now. I mean, unless you guys go locally, but I mean, a lot of people, if they're like in the summer, do you feel like college kids that are coming back or whatever? But it also gets harder at times because you get older, you like jobs, so sometimes maybe it just doesn't work out. It's not that there's not college kids that want to go there, but I mean, high school kids, I mean, I feel like high school is as good a ministry as any, because I feel like that's where you get lost. I mean, that's where I got lost, started going down the wrong road. So what are you guys seeing, like, as you guys have been like, being faithful and this thing's growing, like, what do you think it is that is attracting kids to it? You know what I mean? Like, what are they needing? What are they seeking out? Because it's, I remember getting invited to Bible studies and I was like, no, that's like dorky. And I don't know what I thought, but it just, if I'm being honest, I probably did think it was dorky. I don't know, but like all the dorky kids go there or something. I don't know. I know it sounds terrible now. I was like, now I am a dork, I guess, but I sure love church and Jesus. But what is it?
I think it's related to what Pastor Allen said, actually, this past Sunday at First Naples. I truly believe it's that our kind of age demographic is really searching for that truth. Yeah. I truly believe so, because in this day and age, like, there's so much going on. Yeah. There's so much going on in the world. There's so much, like...
misinformation.
And it's really, like, confluting. Yeah, and, I mean, same place where I was at a year prior to now, wanting the truth, and seeing that anything that I was going towards wasn't fulfilling, wasn't giving me that, clarity, but hearing that the gospel is changing these people's lives, it's healing these people, doing miraculous works, like, that's attractive. Yeah. So, okay, let me take a shot. Let me see what this is about. And I feel like the more and more that the community is being built, not just the beach Bible study, but just in general, the more and more people are coming to Christ and living it out and sharing it with their friends, or just by the way they live, other people are seeing that and like, okay, like I want that. I want, especially those broken people.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people in high school especially who are depressed or have anxiety and so forth. Things are going on in their lives and they're just not in a good mental state, but they see somebody who's happy, you know, who's thriving, that they see, and that's going to be attractive to them.
Something different.
Exactly. And that's where they get their kind of desire and seeking that, because everybody wants to be in a good well-being.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah. No, I think that's so true. Cause I mean, like you said, I don't know. I mean, as a guy, like, yeah, I mean, guys generally will struggle with lust. I mean, that's a pretty common thing for guys. I don't know. I can't speak for women, you know, but, and I mean, that doesn't change even as you get older. I mean, that's always like, God made beautiful women, you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, I was actually talking about lust. It's like that second look. Yeah. That's like, you can't help it if you walk past a pretty girl and you know, hey, she's pretty. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But it's like when you take the second look or you go somewhere in your mind with it. But, you know, I think that's pretty common. But like, I think it's hard as an adult sometimes because like as a parent, has kids, you know, like you're busy, you're doing your best. You're trying to keep, you know, I mean, cell phones and stuff. I mean, like, seriously, I know it's going to make me sound like a dinosaur, but I mean, you know, I didn't get my first smartphone legit until I was like 25, you know, I got like a Nokia, like the Nokia brick phone. Like that was the first phone, bro. And it was like, it was not even color screen. You know what I mean? I like had to go with my mom to like get it, and you had to sign. It was like a whole thing, you know? And like, you were excited because you could change the face plates. Like that was like, oh man, check out this cool faceplate I got. Super dorky, but you know, I didn't have like all of this stuff like with pornography and all the different things that are just like, you know, if you wanted to get into pornography, you had to like go get a VHS tape from a buddy and like hide it. You know, those things were like this big, you know, it's like, you know, it just wasn't some of the same things I feel like kids struggle with, you know, and so it's like, I think maybe you feel like it's because you guys are, you know, young and you're just out of high school, and it's like, it's not me up there teaching it. Like, what does this guy know? Or he's like my parent. He doesn't really know what it's like, even though it's like, it's kind of weird, like where you guys are at to like when one day you're where I'm at, you're like, no, I do know most of what you're dealing with. Cause like, it's not that much different, maybe a little bit, but I still know like what battles you're facing. And like, that's like, as a parent, you're always like trying to protect your kids. Pastor Allen actually talked about that yesterday, about like helicopter parenting your kids. Like you're trying to prevent them from having, you know, making the mistakes that you made because you know how bad it hurts. But, you know, it's kind of like the old, like, don't touch the stove. And it's like, you're just going to keep doing it until it's like Eve, you know, like, don't touch the apple. What does she want to do? Like, when I touch the apple, like, it's just, sometimes you got to find out, and the hard way can hurt, you know? So, I mean, do you feel like girls, I mean, what do you feel like boys are like, you guys, I mean, do you guys get like, with the Bible study, I think you guys said you just recently started kind of breaking up into groups. I mean, like kind of walk us through somebody that's watching this. It's maybe like, man, I've heard about this, but what's it like? They show up at 6:30 on Sundays at, what is it? Is it Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
Vanderbilt Beach in Naples. So they show up there at 6:30, and what happens? Like walk us through kind of a normal like format. You don't have to go through like the whole.
So basically we get there 6:30, right? And I tell everybody to arrive at 6:30. People start rolling in. We got a speaker playing music or whatever. Some people bring spike ball to play a little bit of spike ball. Some people bring footballs, like throw footballs. They can play games, do whatever, right? I'll start the lesson at 7. We kind of just circle up, and then we all pray together before we start the lesson. We all pray, and then if somebody needs to go grab their stuff after I pray, they go grab it. They sit down in a circle again. I'm going through the lesson. The lesson will probably take about maybe 7 to 10 minutes. Like it kind of varies. It's not too long. It's not like a whole sermon or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm basically just speaking through a passage, giving them something to reflect on, explaining the verse or whatever. And then after I'm done, I pray again. And then what we recently just did was we split up the small groups into more than just one girl group and one guy group. Because what we had realized was that we're starting to get a lot more people.
Yeah.
But before we would have Anajah lead the guys, and the Anajah, my other friend, lead the girls. But again, it was starting to get so big to where Anajah was leading 70 guys, and Anajah was leading 80 girls. So I was just thinking, I was just like reflecting on like how we could make this better or whatever. And I'm also just thinking about like the goal of the ministry, like the heart of the ministry, and that is to disciple the next generation, to disciple the people that actually come. Like Bible study, Beach Bible Study is not just a hangout. This is a place where you can come and find beauty and gather outside of a church and learn more about God and still have fun, but the main heart about it is to just learn more about God. So we came to a conclusion that, hey, like, we need to split up these groups, not only just because like it'll help the kids that are there, but then the leaders could also gain more experience. Like I have Anajah leading the group, I have like four other guys leading 2 other groups, and then I have like 3 other girls. I'm giving other people opportunities, or we're giving other people opportunities to be able to lead. Yeah. And it also gives them the opportunity to build relationships with the students that are actually going. Yeah. And that's even cool. Even yesterday, we realized that like small groups went on way longer than it actually did. And I'm kind of just like observing the whole thing, and I realized that, hey, like, these people are actually like more deep into the questions and more deep into their conversation. It wasn't just one group, but it's everybody. Yeah. And like small groups is going on for like, I think yesterday it went on for maybe like 30 minutes. And now that was a good thing to see, because it actually just like reflected the heart of why we're here. We're here to learn more about God. We're here to build relationships with new people. We're here to come together as a community, as a family, to learn more about God. So that is kind of how it goes. And after a small group, we kind of just chill, hang out. They can go in the water. They can continue playing games. We listen to music. We kind of like dance around a little bit. Yeah. And then after that, we always go.
I mean, it's like a beach party without beer, you know, and hopefully at least, right? Or hopefully anything else, right? Like, which is amazing. That's cool. I mean, I had 2 thoughts. So I go to men's group. I go to the Wednesday men's group at First Naples. And I used to go to one of my old churches. I'm from Kansas City, and where I went to church before we moved here. And we had a men's Bible study. And what I really liked about it, and I'm not saying that I don't like First Naples at all, it's just a little bit of a different format, and I'm going to go somewhere with this, is that we would have like it would be like kind of the same thing. We get there. This is my old Bible study back in Kansas City. We'd have like some food or whatever, and then we'd have like, we'd sit at a table, 8, 10 guys, and then our pastor, whoever was leading it, would go for like maybe 20 minutes or something, maybe not even that, 15 minutes. And then we would like, we'd have like a piece of paper that would have like, some study questions or topics about kind of like what we talked about, similar to what you're doing. Yeah. But at least for me, what I enjoyed about it was, I think what you just said, having a community of people to be able to like talk about things and share. Because sometimes if it's too big, you don't feel like you should say anything because you're like, man, I want to let everybody else talk. And then, but also like if it's too long of a sermon, like if it's a pastor just getting up and it's like, it feels like another kind of, sermon, it's like, and then what I find at First Naples a lot of times is that it is more of a sermon. And I'm not saying that that's bad. Like I still go, I like it, but I feel like sometimes that the guys at the end, we get cut short. Cause like, man, like we're there to fellowship, and it's like, man, you got guys you want to ask. And by the time you ask everybody how they're doing or anybody need prayer, like it's over. And you're like, oh, like I didn't get it. So, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people that don't really have that in their lives. So it's like, if they never get a chance to talk or whatever, sometimes I think there's a lot of people that are going and they realize like, oh, wow, like, hey, I do need prayer, or, hey, I am kind of actually feeling sad or anxious or, depressed or whatever. Now, I mean, you can't never make everybody happy and do it the exact format that fits for everybody. But I think that there's a lot of people that don't get a chance to talk, and that might be their only, an hour? Yeah. That might be their only hour to really like sit and actually have somebody hear them. And I mean, that's just my own opinion, but I think that's really cool that you guys are, you're seeing that and you're adapting, even though it's not a business. I mean, that's kind of how business is too. You're learning, you're adapting, you're visiting what's good, what's bad, what can we do better. I might have some speakers for you guys too. I'll talk to you about that. I just thought about that. I have these speakers that are like, would be dope on the beach. And I was like not sure what to do with them, but I give them to you guys if I can get them, or if I can't, I'll get them cheap. I'll get them cheap to you, really cheap. Just because they're not mine, but they can be if I want them. So that was total sidebar there, but so that's awesome. So I mean, what do you guys see? Where do you guys see it going? I mean, where do you hope it goes?
Man, again, the heart of it is just like we want to be able to disciple them so they're at a point where they can disciple other people. So the goal of this whole thing is not for us to lead them, but for them to be able to lead others as well. So we're trying to feed into them. We're trying to feed them spiritually. We're trying to, love on them and just reflect Jesus onto their lives. So they're at a point where they can do the same to other people, to where it can constantly grow within the generation, to where the word is just constantly being spread throughout the whole thing.
Gotcha.
So the goal, where we're trying to go with this, obviously, is just for the word to continue being spread, not only in Naples, but in Fort Myers and all of Florida and all of the world, because we're not the only ones that need Jesus. We're not the only ones that need to hear the word. There's so many other people across the whole world that need to, hear the word as well. So our goal is obviously to raise up those young people, to raise up, those people who are yearning to just hear the word of God, so that they can go out and spread the word wherever God calls them to spread the word. So I would say that's the goal of where we want it to go. So yeah, for sure.
So do you see? I mean, I'm like a big thinker type. Like I have so many like things go off my head. I'm like, oh, you can do this, but man, sometimes you just gotta like listen to God too, and like it's really hard. I probably struggle with that more than anything personally. Is like not making it about me. Like I didn't do this, like I didn't build this business. I didn't build this podcast. We were talking before you got here just about like even the podcast is like, when I started this, it was just to be, to network with local business owners that I couldn't really get in front of because I didn't want to go out and party and do all things. I don't drink. And so it was like, just kind of was like, wasn't my scene. Yeah. And so I really just started my own podcast to just like kind of get in front of them. And so what I kind of found was that like I was having guys on for my Bible study, and I was having, they just kind of happened, a lot of them just happened to be Christian. So we would talk about their faith. And then I've had people on that weren't Christians, which is fine. I just feel like it's like kind of turning into a ministry, for me. And I want it to be more like Bible based. I mean, it's like, maybe you guys know some people that can hook me up with Christmas lights or landscape lighting, but probably not, and I still wanted to have you on because it's not about that. It's about him. And just, it sounds so cheesy sometimes saying that, I feel like, but it's the truth. It's like, man, I really want to try to just let him, wherever this goes, it goes, get a sponsor or something. Like, that's awesome, pays for some of the bills. Cause like, this isn't free, you know what I mean? It costs me money. And so I don't really care. I just know God. I'm faithful enough to know, and I've been down and seen God always take care of me. It doesn't always look like how I want it to look or how I think it's going to look, but, a lot of times when you look back at it, you're like, wow, okay, like I'm really glad it actually didn't go the way I wanted it to, because like I see what he did, but it's just that timing, that we all struggle with, where it's like, hey, God, like right now would be a really good time for you to answer this, like, and it doesn't always work that way, and sometimes it does. But so what's your guys' plans? I mean, you guys thinking about ministry, going into ministry now? Has this ever opened up the idea to go into ministry for like a career, or as a pastor or a missionary, or just an entrepreneur that is going to be about Jesus? Or like, what's your I didn't know what I would have known how to answer that when I was 19, so it's okay if you're like, I'm not really sure, but what would your answer be at 19, I guess, if you had to say?
For a while I was kind of like struggling with it, because I mean, I felt like I was called to do it, but I was like, nah, I'm not really like qualified for this, or like it's not me. But God doesn't, God qualifies the called. He doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And that's just what I had to understand.
Sure.
And like I said earlier, was that as soon as I started following Jesus, he kind of started placing me in situations where, he had me step up to be, a leader, and Anajah be a leader or whatever. Like, again, like the whole Bible study wasn't meant to be some like big thing, but as it started growing, it started growing so fast to where I would have to get up and speak and get up and.
Was that hard? Like first time?
It was pretty hard at first. But God was with me. He helped me through it. He walked me through it, and now obviously like we're working through so many people. So now ministry is definitely what I want to do. I can't really see myself in anything else.
Cool.
Yeah, I know it's going to be rocky throughout.
Yeah, Satan's going to come at you now.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to live to glorify the kingdom and not myself. So I know this is the best way I could do that. And
Yeah.
you know,
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've also kind of struggled with what I really want to do, like career wise, long term. But I'm in school right now in finance. Not sure exactly where I want to take that into, but I like the space. I like everything that has to be doing with business and entrepreneurship as well.
Cool.
You know, I definitely want to start up something of my own eventually.
Yeah.
And by me seeing like what I've seen the past year of how God works and the love He's presented onto my life and others is unlike anything other. You know, I've seen people change like day and night, and like it's such a testimony. You know what I mean? And it just shows how good God is. And as Zach said, like I don't see myself not sharing that with other people.
Sure.
You know, so I truly believe like whatever I go into, I want it also to make my mission as I'm sharing the gospel through it.
Yeah.
Some way, somehow.
Yeah.
I'm reaching people. I mean, at the end of the day, I do want to help people.
Yeah.
In anything I'm doing.
Yeah, sure.
And like the same entrepreneur sense, like if I'm providing a service, it's helping people. Like I want to help people in some way, somehow, in multiple ways. But I also want to incorporate Jesus in it.
Yeah, you can incorporate, you can, you know, the Bible, you know, it talks about, you know, like if you have the money, like give, you know, give, you know, I think it's Romans 12, like in there, like if you can teach, if you can have the money, give. I'm not great at, like, I know it's Romans 12, I know that, but I don't remember all of it. But you know, it's like all the different things where it's like all different parts are important. But I mean, you guys think I thought I was going to be a Christmas light installer when I was 19? I mean, not exactly the coolest job, but I mean, you know, it's provided pretty well for my family, and it's a bougie service, but at the same time, you know, it's providing for me. I have employees that I'm providing for. You know, I had my first employee get saved, couple months ago, and so. You know, I don't know exactly what that looks like. I mean, there's obviously different kinds of business, but even with finance, I mean, you know, there's a lot of people that struggle with money, you know, and we're not really getting taught that in school very well. You know, how to do it, how to manage it, that kind of a thing. And I mean, I've been down the ropes of, you know, not making lots of financial mistakes. So it's like, even if that's what you do, you know, you can still glorify Jesus, and doesn't mean you still can't be a part of a church. I mean, you don't have to go into ministry, I don't think, to like still be, you know, use God. I think it's just like a true calling if you're feeling more called and you're not, and, you know, that might change, but you just kind of gotta, it's really hard. Yeah. I think it's really hard to know like what you want to do and why do you want to do it and things like that. I mean, as a business owner, I mean, I don't think I can work for anybody else at this point, because I've owned my own business now for like 20 years. So it's like, probably ain't going back to having somebody tell me what to do, but that's what makes the world go round, you know, is there's definitely people that need to be number 2s and number 3s in businesses. That's right, and, you know, there's nothing wrong with that either, because they don't have the stress that I do, and probably getting paid pretty well to not have to go home and stress about this and that and the bills and opening their bank account sometimes. And you're like, I don't want to see the number because that happens to me sometimes, because the nature of my business is real weird. But, that's awesome, guys. I mean, I think that, you know, just from somebody from the outside looking in, I think it's really amazing that you guys are doing something at a young age. And even if you fail at it, even if you don't do it perfectly, you know, you're going to learn from it. And I mean, I would argue with a lot of kids going back to like careers, and this is probably an unpopular statement, but I mean, I don't like, if I didn't know what I was going to do, I would go into like services. I mean, like roofing, heating and AC, electrical. You can make as much money as you want to make. You can be a bazillionaire in those things. Not cool. Doesn't look good on Instagram. You're not going to be popping your suit collar every day, and, you know, but those guys make bank. And, you know, in 4 years, you can be, you're making money, learning a trade, and then you can go open up in your own business, where a lot of times you go to college for 4 years if you don't get lost and come out with debt. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with college, don't get me wrong. As long as you know that what you're doing, or that's what you want to do, and you're pursuing it for a reason. But I mean, I just like one of those kids that just like, it was the next step, you know. I just went to college and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I changed my major like 3 times. And you come out and I don't have a degree, and I mean, now I put up Christmas lights, like, you know, it's crazy. It's like all that time wasted. But, there's just not enough. It doesn't look cool on Instagram being a heating and cooling guy, but I know a lot of those dudes are doing all right. So it's like, the movie The Forge, have you guys seen that?
Yeah,
I'm sure
I've
that's
seen
what,
that.
when you said finance, I love that movie. I know it's not like a true story, but like that is like my favorite movie.
That was a good
Just
movie.
like I want to be like the fitness guy, the fitness owner, like that as a business owner. Like I want to be that guy. It's like, he's given to all these different things, and he's just a good dude. He's like taking people and doing exactly what you guys are doing on just like a smaller scale. So I just wanted to tell you guys, I think it's really cool. That's why I wanted to have you guys on. I wanted to highlight it. So kind of wrapping up, tell everybody kind of where they can find it. Let's just kind of go through that. Like who's welcome. What's your pitch for the beach Bible study? If somebody's like, hey, tell me about this.
Shameless plug.
Your shameless plug. Let's hear it.
You meet every Sunday, 6:30 at Vanderbilt Beach on the right side near the boardwalk. Our Instagram, I think, is just Beach Bible Study. I think _.
Yeah.
Beach Bible Study _. Come out, come have fun, come learn more about the Word. We have great people. You guys will love the people that come there. We also go to First Naples Church. We go to the 10 a.m. service, so if you guys want to come find us there.
You guys are popping in there too. Like I go to that service too. There is, if you're like a young person, and I can just attest, they do have a really good young group of kids. It's like, I call you guys kids, but young adults, sorry, that are there, that are like getting after it and making it cool, man. Yeah. Like I was telling Pastor Keys the other day when he dropped that Forrest Frank little drop. Were you guys there when he did the Life is Good? And you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
He just did like a little sample, like, and I was like, dude, the place like went off. I was like, man, you guys should do that more often. I was like, that was awesome. And even the adults, like I was looking around because I was like, oh, this is Forrest Frank. Like, what the heck? I wasn't expecting this. Mm-hmm. And like adults were smiling. Like they were like kind of looking around like, what is going on? This is dope. And so, I mean, I don't know. I think that's because of you guys, honestly. I think that they're like, them knowing that there's young kids and there's like this movement going on. Mm-hmm. It's like, playing that kind of music. There's probably a little bit more like what you guys listen. Maybe it's not Forrest Frank. Maybe it's Miles Minnick. I like Miles Minnick or KBE or whoever it is. I mean, those, music's hard. Music is probably, for, I don't know if you guys struggle with that, just like the pull of wanting to listen to whatever like earthly music it is versus just putting on Christian, gospel is hard. I don't know, but I just feel like the Christian, like rappers and hip hop and that kind of stuff, like I feel like they're just doing such a good job of like really making it cool, and it doesn't sound cheesy, and it's like, man, it actually sounds awesome, and it's like, man, I actually want to listen to this, and I think like Forrest Frank's like he's like ahead of Drake. I think I saw somewhere like in YouTube
streams.
I mean that's pretty crazy, So it's like really cool just to see.
Something.
Just to see that there's like a need for that. And I would agree with you. Like there's just something happening in the world, and there's like a craving for it. It's just, like you said, outlets. I mean, like I said, I'm trying to use what little limited resources I have in my small town to, promote God and business and doing ethical business and like being able to talk about Jesus and be a Christian business. And, we're all doing our best. So I think it's really cool that you guys are doing it. I think that you guys should be proud of yourselves. And I think it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So we have this little segment kind of wrapping up. It's called The Brighter Side, right? Just like this. And so I'm going to ask you guys this question. You guys can answer separate. So let's see. When life feels heavy, what brings you back to the brighter side?
When life feels heavy, what brings you back to the brighter side, right? Okay. Literally yesterday, we were just going over at the beach. Hey, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust the Lord with all your heart, not on your own understanding. Acknowledge Him in all your ways, and He'll make your path straight, right? So that's kind of like my encouragement when just going through times that are hard. Like when life is heavy, all I have to do is trust in Him, give Him control, because I can't do it by myself. Every time, my will is not, better than God's will. My understanding is not better than God's will. His plans for my life are way better than my own. So I have to understand that, man, if God is sovereign over all of our emotions, all of our feelings, and all of our plans, why am I not seeking Him? Why am I not trusting Him when life feels heavy? He also says that, take on His yoke, for His yoke is easy and light. So if the Lord is just saying that, why am I not leaning on him? If I give my burdens to him, if I give my problems to him, so I can be more at peace,
Sure.
So that's what his, that's what his word says. So that's just how I encourage myself to, reach that brighter side. That's how I would say.
Just looking at the track record, and like looking what God's already done for you.
Yeah.
Especially in your lowest times. Always kind of just being grateful for where you are right now, being grateful for the fact that God brought you up out of, the mud, the mess, and he can do it again. That really, really, like, it always kind of sets my mind at ease,
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, there's not a wrong answer. It's just kind of helps people, like at the end of the day, it's him, and it's, we're all going to have ups and downs, and, it's like, yeah, what do you do? Who do you go to when you need those problems? Are you going to go to God, or are you going to go to Google, ChatGPT or whatever for the answers? And not always, the world's definitely not going to give you, it's not really going to point you to that direction. So that's it, man. That's a wrap. So if you guys want to connect with these guys, I'll put the show note links in there for their Instagram, because you guys just Instagram, right? No website or anything like that yet. And so get in touch with me if you have any questions. I'll get you in touch with these guys, and we're gonna give them a couple t-shirts. So I'm holding you guys that watch this and these guys accountable. I got a couple free t-shirts they're gonna give out, a Bible study for the Brighter Side podcast. And so just keep doing it, man. Just keep going. People are watching, people are noticing, people think it's cool, and I have the luxury of being able to kind of reach out to you guys in a different way than other people do, but I know that there's other people that are talking about it, and I hope that encourages you guys to know that that people are seeing it, and you're doing something good for the community. So thank you guys for doing that.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you guys for being on the show. That's it. That's a wrap. Thank you guys for watching today's episode. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure if you guys listen to this on Apple or Spotify, leave us just a review. Hit the 5-star. Give me something. That helps so much, and people finding the show. And if you're really, really interested in sponsoring the show, you guys can do that. We have information on our website. If you want to sponsor an episode, or you want to kind of get behind it, we can talk more about that. But that's it, guys. Thank you guys for being on the show, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you for having us.